Welcome, Chris. And we'll probably have a few more trickle in. Like I said, it is also still quite early, keeping in mind that we're the first ones up in our time zone. So if you want to just go ahead and get started here. So if each of you guys, Carl and Ben, would like to just real quick introduce yourselves and give the really quick and soundbitey version of where your business came from and what you guys do, and then we can jump into this tool that I'm really excited to hear about and see in action.
All right. Ben, do you want to go first, Ben? Yeah,
I'll get a word in before Carl goes. So I'm Ben Stokes. I'm the managing director and founder of Evolute. Evolute is a digital transformation agency. We help businesses with digital strategy, digital transformation roadmaps, and then the execution of those roadmaps through things like websites, apps, CRM, etc. Put together a pretty cool little tool we're trying to help simplify what can often be a very, very complex thing, which is digital transformation, particularly from a digital experience perspective. And I've been working really closely with Carl to help kind of design that out and build it. And I'll hand over to Carl.
Great, thanks, Ben. So my name's Carl. I work with Ben. I'm the Director of Experience Design at Evolute. And you can think of me as we have all these software developers and all these great designers, and I'm the guy that kind of works out, okay, what are we going to build for our clients? And can we demonstrate that this piece of digital transformation work, this digital asset that we're building, will engage your customers and do its job. And that job might be to build awareness, engagement, generate leads, sales, or customer loyalty, etc. So that's my role in the business. And I think as a little segue into what we're doing today in our session, a big part of what we do is build digital strategy, which ultimately ends up in a transformation roadmap for our clients. And that transformation roadmap really understands, okay, what's the current state of play digitally of your organization today? And for the future, what would be the steps that you want to go through in the future to build out your digital transformation, your digital experiences, and in what order and for what reason? And in working with our clients, that seems to be quite common. But in coming here today and presenting at WeWork, we thought, well, can we build a tool that simplifies this? In other words, can we hack our own process? And by hacking our process, give you a tool to, as you'll see when I share my pack with you, that we believe can help you build a transformation roadmap for your business in under 45 minutes. In fact, maybe even 10. So the objective of today's presentation is to ultimately let you use the tool, but to help you understand the kind of machinery behind the tool, the concepts in and around digital transformation, and how we've brought those concepts together in a very simple way to help you understand what the possibilities for transformation are for your organization. So without further ado, I might get into the presentation proper and share my screen, unless there's anything else, Ben or Ren, you would like to add.
Good.
Great, fantastic. All right, see, here we go. This is always trepidatious for me. My computer can freeze at this point, so hopefully this will work. And just checking that can people see my screen?
Yes.
The PowerPoint, the Evolute slide? Yep. Okay, fantastic. Okay, great. All righty. So thank you again. And there you are. There's the big claim. Develop a digital transformation roadmap in less than 45 minutes. In fact, I could say maybe even less than 10. If you're looking to get out of the office quickly, we can help you do that. As I mentioned, the purpose of this presentation is to really take you through the key concepts behind our version of digital transformation and how it can be employed in your business. So again, just a little bit about Evolute. As Ben mentioned before, we specialize in digital transformation and digital experience and customer experience. And we kind of work at the intersection of all of these different areas. The key idea being that we help understand your customers' needs and wants, and then deliver digital experiences to your customers through some type of transformation roadmap. And that kind of really sums up what we do at Evolute. But enough about us. Let's talk about what we're doing today. So we're building a roadmap for digital transformation, and just to get the definitions right, so you understand what the scope is here. Digital transformation is a massive beast. If you think of insurtech, fintech, agtech, what's happening in legal firms, with machine learning automation and process automation, and it's really vast and very diverse. What we're going to do today is simplify that a little bit and focus on digital experience transformation. So what does that mean? So a digital experience is anything that's customer facing to your customers. So you might have a back of office process, and that's not what we're interested in. We're only interested in what surfaces to your customers. And what surfaces to your customers is probably best thought of in the journey your customer takes when interacting with your business. So they might first come across your brand through some type of promotion, advertising, or word of mouth. So they might go to your social media page, read about you in a blog or a press release. Then they might first start interacting with your brand. So then they come to your website. And when they're on your website, there could be a myriad of different experiences that they can have, from chatbots to live chat to tools, calculators, contact us forms, content, articles, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And as we move through the customer journey, there's a delivery component. Now, that delivery component is when you deliver your product and service, and that's predominantly where you would find a lot of your back of office processes in digital transformation, but they still could be different experiences that surface at that point to your customer. And that might be a customer portal where they log in to see the status of the job or product that they've ordered. And or it could be to do a support request or lodging a ticket to get further help with their product or service delivery. And finally, there could be a retention component, so devotion components, where there's a loyalty program, for example. So when thinking of that customer journey, it really helps us focus our attention on what is the customer experiencing. And when we use that lens, that's what we mean by digital experience. So we can define, I think I've got just jumping around here. Oh, no, I missed my definition. So sorry. So I'll just give you a definition for digital experience. And I would say it's an experience your customers have that's delivered to them digitally. So what you're looking at here on the screen is quite a lot of different examples. And I'll get more into what this is a little bit later. But as you can see here, there's chatbots, there's events where you can log in and run an event online or book a ticket for an event online. It could be a catalog and a payment gateway for a shopping experience online. It could be social media, an app, and a myriad of different other experiences. And when thinking of digital experience transformation from the point of view of your customer, you can think of all these little cards, these little post-it notes on my screen here. You can think of these as opportunities for you to deliver this experience to your customer. And by doing so, transform the way your business delivers experiences in a digital context. The question becomes, what are these experiences and which ones do I need and which ones don't I need? And if I need an experience, what will it cost me? How long will it take to implement? And what is the benefit to my customers, and what's the benefit ultimately to my business for business outcomes such as leads and sales and retention and acquisition. Now that's the hard part, but before we get there, we'll just keep going and kind of explain to you in more detail what these digital experiences are. So the first key concept is the idea of a digital experience, or a DX thread. A DX thread takes a particular area of digital experience transformation, of digital transformation, and plots out the different types of digital experiences you can have to transform your business. So what you're looking at here is an example for e-commerce. And with e-commerce, the first place we want to transform is, well, first of all, you need a shopping cart and an online catalog. Number one, and yes, we all probably have that. But then when you go up a level in complexity, you might be giving a customer a profile so they can log back in. And in that profile, it could be a history of all the different products that they bought. And you can also maybe see parcel tracking as well to see how far away your delivery is. At the next level up, you might have some additional functionality to do with ratings and reviews and wish lists and coupons and discounts. And then moving more in a more customized or automated fashion, you might have dynamic pricing. So based on the type of customer who's logged in, you might give them special rates. This is particularly important for business-to-business transactions, where you might have larger companies who have negotiated different prices from smaller companies with the organization. There might be an app or journey automation. And I'll just pause on journey automation for a little bit because you'll see it referenced a lot here. But journey automation or marketing automation refers to when we employ SMS or email to automatically send a message to our customers as part of some type of interaction. So a classic one is when you go shopping and you go to check out your shopping cart online, but you don't check out your shopping cart, and then you get distracted and you do something else. And then sometimes you might see an ad that will follow you, like a remarketing ad that says, oh, come back, or you might get an email, come back and complete your purchase. Or when you log back into Amazon, it might direct you to go back to your cart again to complete that purchase. So that's an example of journey automation, and it can be used for a myriad of different purposes. That's an example of e-commerce, but we can also do that with lead nurturing as well in complex sales processes and many other applications. But enough about that. And finally, the last card we've got there is smart recommendations. And this is where you'll see Netflix and Amazon really come to the fore. I mean, this is how Amazon really started employing machine learning to get big business outcomes when they first started, where you can analyze the different products that someone has purchased or looked at and then make an intelligent or informed recommendation of a product that will be of interest to them. So what's kind of important whilst you move up the ladder of increasing the level of digitalization and automation in DX is that towards the cutting end, you might start seeing the application of automation, like journey automation, expert systems, and also machine learning and artificial intelligence, like intelligent chatbots and smart product recommendations. And that's kind of holds true for these different threads. So here you got some green ticks. So it's a very simple concept in the tool that we've created. If you have a thread that profiles your business, you simply tick off what digital experiences you have currently deployed in your business, and then what's left are the possibilities of what you can do in the future. So that's easy enough, but the task at hand is identifying which threads belong to your business. And on that note, these are all the threads here. So there's about 15 of them in total, I think. And they kind of get categorized into different buckets. And these buckets are very important at a very high level. They help you understand where you can do a transformation for DX in your organization. And probably the most important first step is the transactions that your organization facilitates with customers. So we've just talked about e-commerce. That's a classic type of retail transaction, but it could be an in-store retail experience, which today is rife with disruption, where we have automated kiosks, self-service checkouts, robotic interactions, geofencing alerts. If you get near a store, you get sent a text. It could be an application. So an application would be a transaction where you are applying for your pension with the government, or applying for a mortgage, or applying for a spot at a university. We're filling an application form. Usually these are very complex and you might need help. It could be a subscription. So a subscription or a license, like you might have membership with a member-based organization, or with a digital streaming service like Netflix. It could be booking a ticket that if you've been to an Eventbrite event, or the event that we're at today, that was booked, and you could get a ticket for that, or it could be a ticket that you get for the bus, or booking an appointment to see your lawyer or your psychologist. And finally, the last type of transaction is probably predominantly for B2B organizations, the most prolific and common is that for proposal and quotation. So these are more service-based complex offerings that you would find, say, with construction companies, with professional service organizations, and complex large product sales that you might, when you're selling to a professional buyer like Walmart, for example, or Home Depot, you would have a kind of complex proposal. So in these types of transactions, there's personal selling, you generate leads, you have a kind of a long-winded sales funnel, and then you might want to have a project implementation off the back end of that, and customers might want to track how that project is being implemented. So they're the transaction types. The other types we have, the other big one that DX can help you with is marketing. So with marketing, of course, you've got your social media, you've got digital advertising that might be happening through Google AdWords or search. You can have a loyalty program, which is not for every organization, but you can certainly buy off-the-shelf third-party solutions to build loyalty programs quite easily these days. And one thread here I call database marketing. I'm old, and that's an old term before the internet. But database marketing, it just refers to when you have the contact details of a customer so you can communicate to them. So you might have their telephone number, their address, or their email address predominantly. And that means that you can send newsletters to them, or that journey automation I mentioned before. You can send an SMS to them or an email. And finally, the last thread there is fun. So anything entertaining, and something that we commonly overlook, but we've got a very powerful, rich entertainment medium at our disposals. And it could be videos for entertainment, or events for entertainment, or podcasts, or interactive games, or virtual or augmented reality. The next bucket there is community. So community is something that we can do for emotional purchases. If we have a community of members who are passionate about their brand and want to share their stories, like Nike are very good at this. Or it could be a professional community of lawyers or engineers getting together. And again, community tools are again off the shelf and can be implemented quite quickly and give you a full gamut of member to member and your organization to member interactions that you might find on social media channels, for example. So all of that's open to your organizations as well. The other major category there is thought leadership. And this is all for organizations who, I guess, do design to some degree for their organization, for their customers, sorry. So they might design complex offerings or have complicated products and services where you might want to educate your customers, or you might be grabbing data from your customers about their business or about them as individuals, like you might find with a wearable watch, so you can deliver insights back to your customers, insights around how many steps did I do today? Or it might be insights around, let me see, like if you were an automotive company with a driver app, and you want to help that company understand the total mileage across their fleet that's been driven this week, or another such information. And finally, general business is the last category there. But transaction type, thought leadership, community, and marketing, these are the buckets where your organization can transform. And what's really special about the era that we are in today, if you've heard of APIs, it means that there's a lot of software that you can buy quite cost effectively and stitch together to deliver all of these experiences. So it makes this quite cheap. It's hard. You can do it yourself a lot of the time, or if you engage a digital agency like Evolute, like our agency, we help our clients do this. But the price point from 10, 15 years ago is dramatically lower, and time to market dramatically faster. So it gives us a lot of latitude to think, what is the best digital experience? Because we can do a lot here from what was possible 10 to 15 years ago. So what you're looking at here is just a little bit more about how these threads work. And what you're looking at here is a collection of threads that profile a particular business. In this particular profile here, this is a company, well, let's say it's a digital agency, Evolute. It's easy for me to talk to that. And you can see here there's a transaction thread in red, and that transaction thread is all about generating leads and having sales calculators and automated proposals. We've got insights thread where we can deliver engaging blog content or report content. We can do customer surveys and polls, or when we get to the more automated end, we can have a customer portal where you can have reports for your customer, or the customer can even generate their own reports. There's a support and customer success thread where you can help support your customer in the use of your products and services. So you might have a case management or a ticket system. It could be a live chat feature or a chatbot on a website. And then there's some marketing and community threads there. But the idea is that you have this profile of your business. And when you have that profile, you can tick off which DXs that you have currently implemented, and what you have left are the possibilities for further transformation. And it's done super fast. So normally, because Ben and I will spend quite a bit of, sometimes it depends on the complexity of the client, but to get to this point would be a bit of work. And using this method, we've hacked our own system. So you can get there pretty quick. And when you've identified what DXs that you want to implement, you can structure them over a timeline, and you've just built yourself a roadmap, like you see here. So,
can I jump in for a second?
Yeah, sure.
I was just going to say, look, it may be obvious, but this is clearly a Ready Reckoner tool, and it's like an 80-20 rule here, where does this cover all the possible digital experiences in the world? No, but it probably covers the 20% of use cases that give you kind of 80% of the impact. And I also think while we can really quickly do a digital transformation outline off the back of this, how those things get executed and the order in which they get executed is definitely something you probably want to stress test in a subsequent phase, because the prioritization of these is a thing that will give you the right amount of momentum in your digital transformation. But that's it for me. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, great. Thanks.
I have one quick question on that, actually, to piggyback off what Ben said, and you might get to this a little bit later, but just in case, because this is something I've seen happen a lot there's scope creep, and then there's scope like blowout. Yeah. How do you suggest anyone using this tool on their own kind of keep themselves in check from the, getting excited and wanting to do all the things and maybe having a little bit of an unrealistic expectation of how quickly they can actually implement one or two or all of these things? How do you keep people in check to not overload what they think they can and should do? Well, I think I guess there's two answers to that, Ren. That's an excellent question. The first answer is a complete do-it-yourself approach. If you completely do it yourself, pick one. Just like I think Ben, how many DXs in total do we have? It's getting close to 100, I believe. Right. Okay. So you don't want to do all 100 at once. That would be crazy. But pick one and see it through to the end. And when I mean see it through to the end, I mean design it, configure it, deploy it, and then test that it's actually delivering on the needs of your business, because you might need to tweak it. And if you just simply look at this graph here, you'll see there in red, if you're an organization that writes proposals for your clients, then sales calculators like tools, which help your clients understand the solution that they need or the problem that they're having. These types of sales quotation and calculator tools, there's a myriad of different options available at your fingertips here. This just one area alone, you could spend the next 5 years building, testing, refining, and optimizing just one sales calculator that, if you get right, could generate
quite a lot of leads for your organization. So the first answer I have for you, Ren, is to, yes, just pick one and see it through to the end and make sure it gets the business outcome you're looking for. And the other answer is it's a little hack, which is we're offering, you'll see a little bit later, we're offering a free consult. So the idea is that just for a limited time and only open to WeWork attendees for this meeting. And if you're watching this filmed at a later date, it's open to you as well. You can make contact with us, and Ben and I will take you through a free strategy consult, and we'll help you using this tool structure the priority of what tools we think will deliver the most bang for the buck, you could say, in that. Yep, sorry.
I was going to say, just on that, the bang for the buck piece is the critical bit of information. I think it's choosing the things that alleviate the constraints in your business. So, understanding whether your current problem is sales or leads or conversion or simply your own time as a business owner. Often the thing that constrains your business growth is your availability of time. Will help us identify which digital experiences to focus on first and why. Because ultimately what we want to do is get you quick wins so that you can really quickly get on to the next steps in that transformation roadmap.
Great. All right. So unless there's any other questions, I might push on. Fantastic. Okie dokie. Alrighty. So I mentioned a hack. So the question becomes, if you can profile your business, how do you do that when you've got like 100 DXs and all these different strands? Well, that's exactly what our tool does. It asks just a few questions, and off the back of those questions, we identify your transformation archetype, of which you're looking at them here on the screen. And if I count them up, we've got 4, we've got 8, we've got 6, so 15 different archetypes in total. And they're broken into 4 major categories with a smaller 5th category. So the first 2 categories are to do with distribution, and it could be either retail or wholesale, B2C or B2B distribution. The first category there is your online, offline. So this is your traditional retailer, like your Walmarts, for example. They started bricks and mortar and then they went online. And this is different to distribution online only. So this is stores like The Iconic and stores that were born online and probably don't have any bricks and mortar at all. And this has created quite the disruption in the retail industry because if you're invested in that bricks and mortar, you've got more expenses. So then it's harder for you to be sharper in your price point, and it's created a lot of healthy competition. But it's certainly, though, 2 very different categories from a DX perspective. And the reason why is because if you have bricks and mortar, that physical interaction, is lots of transformation opportunities happening there currently that you can't replicate online. Then we've got a breakdown of services and product. With services, we've got solution sales, solution selling, which is writing proposals. A skill set seller is someone who doesn't write proposals, but is an expert in their own right. So that might be a lawyer a lot of the time, or a psychologist, for example, where you book in time with them to get an appointment. The application adjudicator is where you submit an application and there's someone adjudicating whether or not you're successful. It might be for a home loan, university placement, or the experienced entertainer. This is all entertainment services will fit into that category. And finally, we've got product. And product is broken into 2 categories. We've got fast-moving consumer goods. So these are products of FMCG of a low value, like a Mars bar, for example. And when you have a very low value product, it's very hard to have your own e-commerce outlet. Very difficult. The reason why is because the cost of shipping a Mars bar is so expensive. So it's much better to go to Amazon and where you get free shipping and get your basket of goods there. Or it could be just a grocery retailer like Woolworths, for example, where you would find your Mars bar. When the price point gets a little bit higher, or the basket size at the checkout gets a little bit higher, then product manufacturers can can go about and brand organizations, for branded product organizations, can go about having their own e-commerce store, and that creates quite a separate experience. So we talked about distribution before, and when those distribution, those pink categories up the top there, those archetypes, they're all about organizations that don't manufacture a product or a brand that you sell on a shelf or in a basket, but a product or branded products. You could still have an e-store, but that's not the primary modality of revenue generation. Is actually selling product. So we've got different types there. We've got prestigious and practical. This is where you have an emotional and rational purchase, like buying a car, for example. You need to make sure that it's got the right mileage and it's eco-friendly, but at the same time, you want it to look fantastic and stylish and feel good too. So that's an emotional and rational purchase. And then the other division there is products that are more emotional in nature, like fashion brands, versus more functional or rational in nature, like literally purchasing nuts and bolts from a store, for example. We're not very emotionally invested there. So we've got 15. And primary producer, that's talking to mining, agriculture, fishing, forestry, and utilities, energy, telecommunications, etc. Primary producers are their own special category because they can do their own wholesaling and retailing as well. So they kind of sit there. So what's the hack? The hack is simply this. If you can find out which archetype your business is, we've identified the threads that have all the DXs on them that describe that particular archetype. And by doing so, you can tick off which DXs you've done and identify a roadmap for the future. Just a little footnote. There can be complex businesses, like I was kind of erring on before with there are some product-based businesses that do their own distribution. BioMe is a good example of that. So it's not always clear-cut what your archetype is. If you have a complex business that you're a part of, it's always good to think of transformation for DX by just focusing on one archetype. So, for example, you might have a distribution arm of your business. You might have a services-based part of your business and a product-based part of your business. And each of these three parts of your business will employ different digital transformation and DX for your customers. So if that's the case for your business, if you're more complex, you might have multiple archetypes, just to keep in mind. And as Ben mentioned, yes, this is a hack. So the archetypes aren't perfect, but it's at least a start toward your journey for digital transformation, and helps you bypass a lot of consulting fees to get this done professionally. So it's about, we're estimating about 80-20 here, but it's certainly going to hopefully open your eyes to what's possible and start getting you to think about how I can transform my business. We have here a free consult. So before we show you the tool, we'd like to offer you this free consult over here. And I'll see if this works over here, if I can put this into chat. So hopefully everyone will see this. So I'll send you the link via chat. So this link should be coming up in your chat currently. And it's a free consult to work with us. So you can use the tool. We'll show you the tool in a minute, but it might be for more complex businesses, or you're just starting on your digital journey, then please make contact with us, or in particular as well, if you're a more complex business, then yes, we'll give you a free consult and help you unravel what's possible for transformation for your organization. So it's a free offer. More than happy to help any business listening here today. We look forward to hearing from you. And our next slide is our digital roadmap designer. So here's our tool. It's only 2 forms that you need to fill in. And here's the link to the tool below. So I'll just, again, copy and paste that link into the chat. So here we go. And there you have it. So there's the link. And when you fill in the form, the system in the back end, the tool identifies which archetype you are, and then gives you all the different possibilities for digital transformation from a DX perspective for your business. So before I continue, Ben, do you have any thoughts you'd like to share at this point?
Keen to see how people go with the tool. We've been working on this for a little bit of time now, but it's a lot more kind of refinement to come. Interestingly, on the subsequent page, if people fill it in, you will see your archetype, you will see the different digital strands. And over time, what we're going to do is actually start to build out things which kind of relate those digital experience blocks to the different stages of your customer journey. So you'll be able to see which digital experience options will help you kind of solve challenges, alleviate constraints, resolve problems in different parts of your business model. And the idea is that once you've got a bit of a view of kind of where you're at and the different options available, that we would then either you can self-prescribe what you think comes next and build your own roadmap. But we are over time going to turn this into a kind of road mapping tool and help people either do that through the system or do it in consultation with ourselves. And then we'd love to help people kind of manage those over time and obviously get a lot of wins and a lot of results. So love to get some feedback on this in its early stages. There is a sign up there to get to the tool, and that's simply so we can kind of mark what archetype you are, and as we improve upon the system, we can give you some updates to come back in and continue your journey.
Great. Thanks, Ben. And maybe what we should do is just quickly share what you get when you fill in this form. So I'll just quickly stop sharing here and just reshare my screen back with everyone. Just bear with me. Here we go. Right. So just checking there, Ben, we can see my screen?
Yep.
Okay, great. So yeah, so when you fill in, so as you can see, it's really simple, 2 forms to fill in. And then you'll come to this page here and gives you kind of a rundown of example brands that fit into this category, description of the archetype, the primary business model, different sectors that they could belong to. And here's the customized versus standardized. This is a scale where the more, let's have a look at, we've got a skill set seller. So the more, the higher the value here, the more customized the solution, and the higher the value here, the more rational it is. And then this helps you understand a little about the tools that you can employ. And here they are here. So these are the different digital experiences. We put them into the different strands. And the key here is really quite straightforward. You just look at which ones that you have, tick them off, and after which, that's the opportunity for future transformation. So as we mentioned before, it's not perfect. It's a 80-20 rule, but if not anything, as you can see, it definitely will give you a lot of food for thought. And Ben and I have been doing this for quite a number of years now. So it's kind of pulling our collective knowledge and understanding as we understand what tools and DXs are available in the market that you might not be, and helps you formulate and start thinking about what future transformation could be for your organization. Great. So that brings us to...
I was actually just going to ask Carl real quick if you wanted to just actually go through like a hyper speed version of what someone would do when they get on there.
Oh, Ben, do you want us to? Could you do that for us?
Yeah. Sure thing. So
just think of a archetypical business that might use this and go through as if you were them.
Yeah, cool. All right, let me quickly share. All right, can everyone see that one?
Yep.
I'm just going to fill in a dummy user. All right, really straightforward. So I'll do it as if it was for us. So we're in professional services industry. We provide services. We provide complex services that require proposals, contracts, and projects is typically the key thing that defines what's different between us and many other businesses. And then we just click submit. And that'll whir away in the background for a bit. And as you'll see, that'll land us on solution sales digital archetype. And you'll have to forgive a couple of little formatting glitches here. It's definitely a work in progress. But we've got the archetype description there. So solution sales business as a service base, selling complex offerings that are designed or configured to meet the needs of customers. Our primary business model is service, different industry sectors, manufacturing, construction, and there's us in professional, scientific and technical services. Different example brands in this space, KPMG, Leighton's, HR Block, Deloitte's would be another one, ourselves, sort of anyone in that professional services and or research space. We're quite customized, so we kind of score a 90 in that department, and it's quite a rational purchase typically, so it's 90 in that respect. But then the fun bit is these digital transformation strands. So sort of everything that Carl's talked you through is kind of laid out here. And what we're going to do shortly is actually turn this into a bit of an interactive tool. So you'll actually be able to tick off the things that you've got, which ones you're happy with versus not, and things you kind of want to explore a bit further and start to turn that into a bit of a transformation roadmap. So that's the next evolution of this tool. As it stands today, we kind of work through this approach with our customers, and then we workshop into existence which ones of these they want to focus on over the next 2 to 3 years. And then we kind of, as Carl said, you kind of hone in on the thing that's going to get them the biggest wins the fastest. And then we kind of continue to work with them to, test and measure the results of that transformation strategy, make sure it's actually impacting on the bottom line, and then over time reinvest back into the next steps.
Fantastic. So I will check back with you guys if I don't hear from you naturally in a little while when those next iterations of this tool come out, because that's really powerful.
Cool, thank you.
Great, thank you.
Carl?
No, just it's a great pleasure to be here. And if you're watching today or watching sometime in the future, hope this was valuable for you. And we do look forward to taking your call. So more than happy to help.
Fantastic. Well, with that, I will go ahead and stop the recording, and thank you guys for your time.
Great, thank you.
Cheers.
Thanks,
Bye.
everybody.
Bye.